Hello and welcome back to the Python Snake Game tutorial. So before we left off where I have the player here and the score variable, and when I move the player and touch the food, it will increase the score. As you can see, it increased from 3 to 4, and if I touch it again, 5 and 6 and 7 and so on. Okay, so now let's try and make the score appear in this Python window instead of the PowerShell. Okay, so let's close this first. And so to understand how to do it, let's check the Python website, and you can just simply search for pygame space font and enter, and the just click on the first result here, the pygame.font, and this will give you all the stuff information that you need to run to use to work with pygame.font. Okay, so I have here this pygame.font.get underscore font, and it will get all the available font. So I will create a new window PowerShell. Okay, and in here I'll just simply run Python and then import the pygame library. Okay, so now I want to get all the available font. I will use this one. Let's check it out what it is. Also, it's okay. So it says here that it get the font, and then it store them into a list of strings. So that means we can use this and put the function into a variable. So I will initialize a variable called list equal and pygame.font dot get underscore fonts. Okay, and the bracket. Okay, so now that my list have all the font installed that's stored in the get font function, let me print it out. So for I in list and colon and space and print I. Okay, running this code will basically give out all the available font that you can use, as you can see. So you can just simply copy the name and put it into the code to use it as a font. So we have here Arial and this thing and this thing. So you can use any font you want. Okay, so now let me check how many font I have. So len and bracket and list. Okay, so I have 619 font, and the amount varies from computer because this is it count the amount that we have in the system here available on the system. So if you have a lot of font in your system, it will show a lot, and if you have uh, lesser, it will show lesser. Okay, so let's go back up and we look at this one. We have here a pygame.font.sys font, and it basically create a font object from the system font. And so we have here the list of system font, so we can use any of them. And so let's copy this code and put it into our snake game. Okay, so this is a font, which means that it does not have to like run every loop. So we don't have to put it inside the loop. We can put it in this one in the initial variable. So let's paste it here. Okay, and I'll call this one font. Okay, so font equal pygame.font.sysFont and bracket. Okay, and let's check what it require. Okay, so it says here system font, and it requires the name, the size, and the boolean value for bold and boolean value for italic. So by default, the bold and italic is set to false, so you don't have to actually type false if you don't want to. So let's start with the name. I will choose this one. I will just pick a normal name, like here I will just simply choose Arial. So the name need to be in a string. So I will put the Arial here, and the size. Okay, so the size I'll use 30, and you can change it whatever you want. And so the bold, and I want my font to be bold, so I just set it as true. And the italic is set automatically to false, so you don't have to type it out. So you can just simply leave it just like this. Okay, so now you have a font that will, when you use the font, it will simply create a font area with the size 30 and it is set as bold. Okay, so now we need to print the text. So let's go down here and um, the text is need to be behind, I mean, before the window update, the display update. So let's call a new variable called text. Okay, let me put it into a new code block. Okay, call this score display. Okay, and I will call a new variable called text, and text equal font. So remember, font here is this one. So when we call this text.font, we're basically just calling this entire thing. So it's basically the same as calling like text equal this, and then the extra value. But just simply use the font. It's shorter and more better to manage. So font.render, and render basically run the font for you. Okay, and in here the first thing that we need is uh, the string that we want to print. So if you want to print the anything like ABC, just put ABC here and then a comma, and this one is a 1, and this one is the color. So I will choose the color white. Okay, let's save it and let's Google the pygame render. Here, font.render. Um, Let me just find the here. Okay, and here font.render, and it says here that it draw a text on a new surface. Okay, and here we have the text and the anti-alias this thing and the color and the backgrounds. So background is automatically set to none, so you don't have to configure it. But if you want a background to be like another color, you can set it. But for now, I will just use this white font color and no background. Okay, so let me save it and run. Okay, let me clear this. I mean, exit first and then clear it. Okay, and go into the folder. Okay, and I will run the code snake.py. Okay, and as I move here, so there's nothing to display here because uh, if we check here, we didn't actually like start to write it into the display yet. So we need to find a way to write it, and to write this, we need to use a function from Python pygame called blit. And so let's Google what blit means. Pygame blit, and here surface.blit. Okay, and we're using the same thing because window is a surface like this one. It is a surface. It's the window display, so that is also known as a surface. Okay, so it's surface.blitz, and what it does is that it draw one image onto another. So we want to draw this text onto the window, so we need to use this function blit. Okay, and how to use it? We call the function and then put the source, destination, area, and it automatically set as none, and the special flag set as 0. So we don't have to work with these two. We just have to use this two. So we call the source and the destination. So what is the source? Well, our source is this one, the text thing. So we call the text in here, and then the destination. So I want my uh, okay, let me run this and see this place I want to put it. So I will put it up here. So the destination would be 0, 0. Okay, so I'll put 0, 0 here and save it and run. So I will close this and run again. And as you can see, we have the font ABC up here. Okay, so now that it works, let's try to change this ABC into to make it display the score. So and to do that, it's very simple. It's just simply removing this and replacing it with score. Okay, and also we now that we have the display text, we don't really need to print it out again. So I'll just remove that and run it again. Okay, so there's an error. Oh, right. It's because our score is called. So our score variable type is actually an integer. And so when we put an integer here, I mean here it doesn't understand why we're putting a number here. So we need to convert it into a string first. Okay, let's save and run. Oh, sorry, I'm using the wrong thing. Okay, and as you can see, once we convert it into a string, we can now work with it. So I will try to eat this food and let's see how it will work. Okay, and as you can see, the score just increased. And so now that we have verified that it works properly, we need to change a few things about the game because the snake game, like the snake doesn't stop in the normal game. Okay, so this one, as you can see, once I stop holding the arrow key, the player will also stop. So I need to find a way to keep the snake going, moving forward instead of just stopping like this. Okay, so let's close this. And so making the snake moving forward and stopping like that have something to do with the player movement. So let's check the code here. Okay, so this is the condition, and the condition is that if we press the key up, it will become true. So the players start to move in the up direction. But once we release the key, the condition will become false, and the player won't. This code won't run. So the player will stop in the position. Okay, so we need to find a way to change this. So a simple way to change this is to just simply create a new variable called movement. So let's start movement with a right. Okay, so when we start moving, it will go right. Okay, so for now, you might not understand this, but when I finish modifying, I will explain the code. So I will copy and paste this. And so now let's change the code here. Instead of moving, instead of pressing the up key and letting the program move, we instead when we press the up key, we will give the movement string equal up. Okay, and the same thing goes for all the others. Okay, so this one will be down, and this one will be left, and this one will be right. Okay, so now we also need to change this. So if movement equal up, it do this, but if it's down, it will do this. Okay, down, and then left, and right. Okay, so you might wonder what's the difference between doing this and doing all this and the previous one. It's because when we release the up key, for example, like when we press the up key, the movement will the value in movement will be equal to up. So uh, this code will run forever until we change it into another direction, like the down or the left or the right. Let's save it and run to show you how it works. And as you can see, it automatically start moving right without any control. So now I will when I press down, it will start moving down. Okay, and as you can see, it start moving down, and it when I release the key, it still keep moving. It's because the movement is equal like previously when we release the down key, this condition will become false, and so uh, the code that make the player move will also stop. But in this in this way, when we release the key, the movement is still equal to the down string. So this thing will keep on running until we change the movement to another value, like up or left or right. So that's how we change the movement to keep it moving continuously. And so we're almost done, and just what we need to do next will be to just add the body once it's start eating. Like when it have a 4 point, it will have four smaller square following it, and if you eat the smaller square, you will game over, for example. So this is it for the um, for now, and for my next video, I will show you that part, the other part. Okay, bye.